Hey guys, Dr. Prometheus here, back with some more Warno. This is a 2v2. Hey guys, it's Squad Ops Discord. We're playing with the new 119th Independent Tank. Joe's playing with the 35th Old Guard Infantry. Probably still getting that wrong. Bartok is playing with the 2nd Panzer Grenadier Division, and Crick is playing with the 11th Armored Cav. So couple of new things. So what we have here is, I think we're going up against Bartok, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to see. Neutral. No, Crick is going to be on the left side that we're going to be playing with, and Bartok is going to be on the right. So at least we're not going to get absolutely rolled over at this point. So what we're starting with is 2 Spetsnaz, one being the Spetsnaz OP, and we're going to do a forward deployed one with an MI8, both MI8 rockets, and we're going to get up in these forward positions up there. But one thing with the 119th is there is no actual infantry conquerors or anything like that. You have to go with the vehicle conquerors, which means we cannot use many of these houses. So that does not bode well for us. So we're going to have to just work with it. BMP-1 with Motorstrecki, other Spetsnaz, this one GRU with Recon, Sapari, a couple of them out there, and Motorstrecki with the BMPs. And a T-80 UD kind of coming up in this area. On the right, we're going to have a couple Conquerors come up and just take this field area and the main road, and then we're gonna have a Tunguska come up with a BRM and another Spetsnaz. I think this is what Spetsnaz GRU coming up with our command vehicle as well. So let's get this one underway. Pretty crazy of a round in this one. We use a lot of artillery, so we just, both me and Joe already comes out with 2 or 3 mortars. So he's going to harass Bartok with those mortars. And we're going to harass both Bartok and Crick with the amount of artillery we have in this deck. Because in this deck, we have 2 long-range artillery pieces and then 3 self-propelled. So we're going to come in and just be chucking rounds downrange. They start to get that 2 up. We get this, neutralize it, and start counter ticking up. And we're going to have a little bit of a lead, but it's not going to matter much. We saw that coming down the main road, or the second road there. We get our Spetsnaz out. Our MI8 starts taking out. Our Spetsnaz is going to come out and destroy that Humvee. It is able to get the LRS out. So that kind of helps them, but the Spetsnaz is capable of deleting infantry very quickly. And we get our command vehicle in this position, probably out here. Probably not the smartest. I actually should have moved this BTR around the back and put it over here. Because, well, this was a spot where I knew Crick was probably going to come around the flank. The Kiowa down here taking shots at our Conquerors. That one misses. But that one hits our BTR with infantry in it. That is just this is just a sight to see there. This BMP getting hit, and then BMP-1 goes down. That doesn't help things. Starting to see some anti-air out here. We're in close contact. We get that Humvee. We're going to get this Spetsnaz GRU in this spot. Stinger is out here as well. We're going to run this Humvee and sell it. The Conqueror is going to come out here and see if we can take down the M728. The Conqueror is going to get actually missed with the Dragon. Separate RPO. Conqueror takes that down. Spetsnaz GRU in close contact with an M1A1 air, the ACAV, the actual recon version of the Abrams. We're going to bring out our TAUD. We can take some shots here. It's getting ready. It's going to take shots at the Engineer Dragon in here first. They neutralize this. I think Bartok or someone else neutralized it. The command vehicles over here. Joe starts hitting them with these mortars. So That's going to stall that attack. Stinger's out here on the left side. T-80UD takes a shot at the dragon. I don't think if it kills it, we're going to use this T-80 to fill this gap. Now, this house, I could have possibly leveled it. It just completely did without. As here's a tornado IDS coming in with the MW1 and killing one of Joe's pieces. The SU-27, I didn't want it to follow too much. We're going to bait this F-16. It's going to come over, and I just noticed we didn't have a lot. Tunguska's going to take a shot. SU-27 is going to try to take a shot. SU-27 is going to bug off, and now we leave it open for this F-16 with an AT. And this is going to hurt my soul coming in. It's going to hit the Conquerors. Not a lot. We smoke off the T-80UD just in case. We're going to bring up another T-80UD and put it in the space. One of the drawbacks with the 119th is the fact that their tanks are just crazy insane in price. So not having a dedicated anti-tank aircraft as well for me kind of is not the greatest, but not having infantry conquerors is what kind of hurts our soul. So we're holding slightly. One thing I also should have realized is getting a second BTR up in this zone would have actually been great as well. Like, we hold this motor jockey could probably be served and sitting in this house. The Conqueror's up here. We do move this motor jockey up to this house, so it's supported by the BMP-1. You start seeing the Spetsnaz take return shots over to the mechanized rifles. So we're going to come out and we're going to actually support them. And they subsequently didn't get hit from the M113, so it likely would have been the smartest thing to put him in this house itself. BMP is going to come out to make sure the mechanized rifles go down. And the motor jockey should have been placed in this house. We're going to move the BMP back just a little bit more. As we see another aircraft come in. It's Bartok coming through with this one. I think he's going to come down and drop those on top. Just behind a T-64. The Afghansky is, I think, a radar. No, it is not. It's not a radar. So he just doesn't have it on at the moment. Or maybe I'm just blind. I'm probably just more so blind. So I kind of figured if I wasn't getting pushed over here, I'm not seeing Crick push over here, that Crick is likely going to push me on the left. So with that in mind, we're going to start investing in putting infantry on our left side. Infantry push coming in from Bartok. We're going to get the one and only 152s, the Mustas up here. We have one out here, and it's going to start just clapping around in some good shots. So that frees up Joe to worry about what's in front of him, because he's going to have a lot of stuff in front of him as time goes on for these mortars. So we hit where that is. We start hitting where the Gepard is. Gepard is a radar guided one, but it's likely not on. It's not on. Maybe I can't see whose stuff is actually on. Actually, I should. It is ready. Maybe I can't actually see it. So we see a little movement out in this forest itself. Mechanized rifles are going to take some shots from the Mi-24. We're going to get the Spetsnaz on the left side, kind of scouting. More shots coming in. We're going to get the Spetsnaz GRU increase, and I should probably in the future put these at I think when you have a tab over here, you can put it as you could actually put it to where we're actually taking return fire. I don't think you can after the fact because you can't manipulate the units. So I need to remember with that. But here comes the artillery. We're gonna bring in the second Musta, so that's all of our Mustas in the deck. And look at these monsters here. Look at these monsters. Just throwing rounds down. Let's wait until he fires again. I mean, he is doing absolute work. Here. Watch him fire. So that's the LRS that I see here that's targeting. We need to get those shots in. I kind of mess up a little bit on the ammo portion, but I'll kind of get the hang of the whole micro with these portions. The Uro's going to come up and support. We're going to put the helo back here. The Uro's going to go back and forth. Shot there by the T-80UD on the Engineer Dragons here. Good shots. Here's the Mi-24. The Stingers saw the Mi-24. So we're going to pull it back. And we had good shots. If something comes across this field, we had good shots on it. The issue is, if there's a mass tank crossing, we can't deal with it. So we do force the Engineer Dragons out, but we do lose the Motor Strelky that was in here. Mi-24 is using its 12.7. Our Motor Strelky doing work. Here is our BMP-1s. Engineers are taking big casualties right now. We pull our Motor Strelky back, and I'm not sure if they'll die from crossing into fire. I didn't think they would. We're going to reinforce it with more Motor Strelky and Polmashinki. As we're going to move these Motor Strelky back into the woods and eventually resupply those. We start hitting with artillery. And here they are. Here he is. Looking at the battlefield. There he goes. Rounds are going down range. And they're going to be hitting some 113. Starting to see the Panzer Morsers back there. Joe is just keep on pounding with the mortars, which is helping him stay alive on the right side. So I think with this advantage, what we should have done is aggressively push this. We had a significant advantage. We allowed them to kind of mass back here. And I was worried like we don't have enough ammo. The thing is, we do. The medium machine gun's the issue. The tank gun can still come up. I need to learn that in this situation, we can do a hard push, take out the PVIDs, and keep pushing with the infantry up with vehicle support. And these two can deal with this and just keep on pushing to assault this and push more units into this area. I also had an issue with this at one point in a game where I could have crashed in a flank instead of pushing one earlier on in the day, and could have actually crashed in on a flank and completely destroyed a section of the enemy by doing it, by at least holding what I had got or what I had. But I just need to recognize this more in the moment. It's not me being cautious, it's just me looking and not funneling and thinking I need to like resupply immediately. We don't need to really resupply that. We take the Urals, we get the Urals up here while it's advancing. So we do move up the BMP. The ATGM here takes out the M113. And now Joe comes out with the Grad. It's starting to take some artillery. We're just going to keep on firing. We're going to take that LRS out so they don't have any recon on us. And then we start looking at the Jaegers right here. That's the biggest thing, is we need to take out recon when possible. Bartok getting a good push on the left side. And Joe's trying to hold this as best as he can. And we probably should have taken out more of the recon elements to ensure that they couldn't do much. I mean, we have the heavier artillery. We can kill units a lot faster. And so it allowed Joe to kind of sit back and deal with the actual incoming forces and units. So some good shots there. Bradley exposes itself. BMD is taken down, but the Bradley is defeated from there. So T-80 moves back a little bit as we're still holding, and I think we should have moved up on the left side. I really do. I really do think we should have. We're holding. Here comes more rocket artillery. And we got our Musta. We actually do lose one Musta. And here it's about to go down. And there it goes. We do one, we're gonna bring in and test the seed. So we come out, we're trying to bait them a little bit. We do put in one thing. The Gepard though is radar, and it's not on. Or no, we do take it down. We do take it down, but it's taken down by all of these Gepards. So I think the key with this is at least I don't think the Russian seed is as, maybe it doesn't target as far as the USC. I really feel like the USC, when it fires, it's back here, and it is way back in the rear of the enemy. But we do have all this no man's land between, so it could be that. So Joe putting a little pressure on here. Tons of artillery coming in from both sides. Here's a MiG-27 coming in from Joe. Those MiG-27 looks like it's going to hit these grenadiers. It does get off the bombs, I think. It actually does not. So it's a bit unfortunate. Let's get out the Vozdika. Gonna come out, and this is why I said we should have pushed. So while doing all of this in here, we were able, like, Crick is able to actually hit us and push us out of this. And you'll see why a push on the left side would have actually been smart later on in the round. Also, being able to see what is over here might have been smart as well if we had the Spetsnaz in this area, but just sitting back and not shooting at anything. Because if I think we get them out here or over in here where they can see this entire field, we probably see their command vehicle. So a push in here is happening against Joe. We're starting to put in more artillery off. We start hitting their Milan here. And we're going to start hitting their Jaegers. So the biggest thing is we need to follow through also on taking units out. I think we would have been served better on taking out this Milan, since it had a good view on anything that comes through this field. And I think we would have had a great bit where this Delshaniki and these PMDs don't have to worry about their flank constantly. The Crick coming through over the top. Tunguska is here. It can't see it until now. Strela is going to start firing, and from here I realize we don't have enough A. It's not enough. It's not enough AA. We're not getting the shots that we need to have. So we call up an Igla on the left side. Maybe that'll help a little bit. We're having some skirmishes. We had 5 or 6 units over here, and we allowed Crick to move up and take us out piecemeal, and that is not something we need to allow. Some more stuff coming in. We're still firing back here. We're taking some good shots. We're starting to support Joe here and actually getting this. But I think we're just off the mark with that. Joe's doing his best on the right side. It is still a pretty close game right here. One comes over, conquers, kills that. We're gonna kill the rest of this Jaeger though, or he is. Artillery coming in now on the Milan, on Bartok. And I'm not seeing a lot of movement from Crick. And I think the biggest thing is if we had recon, we could actually see this area. Anything around here, we would have saw that Crick is amassing over in this area to sweep us down our flank. And we could have at least did something with it. So we see his actual unit here, Panzer Grenadiers. And here's where it gets a little dicey with everything. So we take all of these, and we are gonna pound the hell out of that command unit there. We put it all on that. We didn't see that beforehand, but it just kind of happens like that. This MI8 takes a rocket, but we're able to get the Spetsnaz OP out. We start seeing this Ihawk out here. There goes the artillery. Good hits. Another good hits. Another one. It's routed, and that kills it. So we start getting a ticking score here. So we're taking 3. With this in mind, from here, I should have pushed up a secondary BTR command vehicle into here. I didn't think about it. I'm thinking, okay, 1's enough. I should have brought that second one up to here. So if this one gets destroyed, it's still here contesting. Because they can still contest it. So you have this issue down here, Bartok messing on the rear of Joe, and that's going to allow Bartok to push up a couple of leopards in this area. Even though the infantry is taken down here, you have this Martyr Grenadiers here. Joe has to take time to deal with this, and moving these infantry up takes time. You have a bunch of infantry out here. Again, I'm not the greatest at fighting anything like this. What I should have done is taken this BTR, placed it right here so it can see, because it can't see back here, and have been pouring in on the flanks here. The Kiowa out here, we're starting to see this Bradley come across. The Bradley wants to get some. We're waiting here with this T-80. It's seeing it. This T-80 doesn't see anything because it's purposely blocked off there. The Spetsnaz can see all the way back here. I see a helicopter land back here as a supply zone, so we start hitting it. We start moving our infantry back, but this Abrams here should have been taken out. By the Spetsnaz. We should have not lost that BMP. We do take it out, but that should have been an indication. If there's a damn tank over here, there's no reason to push this tank unless they're grouping and he sacrifices that tank to kind of keep that a secret. I didn't think about it. Don't know why we started artillerying the Ihawk over here and this M1A1, because we want to be able to move these helos up. These helos are up there in case there is a push, but we can't be dealing with that if we can't push. So Bradley keeps moving up. T-80 is looking for a shot. It's looking. It's looking. It starts hitting the Spetsnaz GRU. T-80 knocks it out. Boom, just like that. A good one. They get a command vehicle back in the point, so we stop ticking down at 420. We get this Mi-24 in to help Joe a little bit. He's being pushed to the outside and trying to hold them here. We're going to keep pounding this out of into submission at least. We see the vehicle right there. I believe I do signal it, or at least try to hit it, but we do lose contact of it. We're holding desperately, but somehow steadily. Bradley coming across here. I didn't realize these are just probing ones to see what we have. This T-80, I did not realize I moved it completely next to the building. If it was right here, I kind of wanted it like right here, to be honest, so I can see that Bradley. With him moving up here, I'm pretty sure he can see Spetsnaz here. It seems we don't have anything else. And here's the tank rush. So 2 Abrams with a command Abrams. So 3 Abrams actually, or 4. T-80 takes a shot. Takes another shot. So there's one of the Abrams down. Bringing up the Mi-8's there. This T-80 UD is just shooting at the LRS. Mi-8's coming in, hitting the Abrams. Stinger's in here now. Our recon goes down. This Spetsnaz is going to get hit. Mi-24 taking shots from the PVIDs now. Mi-28s hitting this. And now at this time, I should have moved this BTR. This BTR needs to move back here. This F-16 is going to hit this T-80 because it's out in the open. And he's going to route it and ultimately kill it. And that's why we need more anti-air as well. So that doesn't help things as well. So I kind of learned a lot during this. We start pulling in artillery now. We have 2 of the Abrams down. The PVIDs takes out 1. We have a T-80 UD kind of just sitting there. We're going to bring in the 24. It does hit in this. I'm not sure if we hit anything on that. Let's actually take a look. So we did ultimately hit 1 tank. So we did hit 1 tank, and they did have a blocking position out there. I don't see that. We see the Leopard come in the middle here. The Conquerors is not able to see it, and I do flag it. So we had a good bit of everything here. We start artillerying that. We start getting our BMPs, our motor Strelkies to start hitting that as well, but they're just weak out here. We're going to get these BMP ones to kind of try to take over this position again with the motor Strelky. I just don't think on the motor Strelky do have RPG-7s. We bring up the Spetsnaz GRU because they can deal with the rifles if we need to. We're pretty much in a panic to hold this assault. Now, it's split right through our lines. Our T-80 UD is taking shots at the rifles. We start hitting that. This Milan is going to keep on going to the south. This T-80 UD is going to acquire it and hit it straight in the side, and now that's done. So we've defeated some, but again, during this time, this BTR has to revolve around here. Like, that has to be the way we do it. Then we don't really lose this section, because I get to a rush of having to hold this. And I feel like if we could have just had a position to where this was actually in this tree line, and Joe has a little issue at times over here, that our second command vehicle we bring in, which ends up being a T-80 tank-wise, we place that sucker right over there. We use that BTR to come down and sneak something in the corner, like over here in this tree line, and that BTR can literally just sit there and just hang out, and we ultimately win this game. But with me distracted over here, it's just not a smart thing. T-80 UD does take a it looks like a lat. Takes a hit. This one is on the curve. Now, can it see anything from this position? Yes. So I was worried about another push across this field to wipe me out. I should have kept it here. We push it out here because I'm worried if something comes straight across here, we won't see it. But the reality is, we need to put the Spetsnaz up here to scout that. But also, I have another T-80 UD. I'll bring this T-80 UD up into this position. So it's there. We're going to bring in an SU-24 to get some bombs on that position. And that bombs that into oblivion. What a long range shot. Was that from a fighter? Wow, okay. Armusta, and this is where I probably could do this supply a lot better, is we just start moving this and supplying these vehicles. T-80 UD is going to sit up in these trees, kind of sit back and hold this position. Crick is going to try to fold our left even more than it already is. We see the command vehicle back here. We're going to start popping it, and I think it's moved. I think they have 2 command vehicles at this point in here. Joe's holding slowly but surely. Should have moved back during this lull to get this resupplied, because I know they could have actually, Joe could have actually used this helo being completely supplied. The Strellas, are actually in a divot. I did not realize that. The Tunguska is also in a divot. Did not realize that. Artillery coming down on the engineer dragons while we're out here trying to deal with these martyrs. We do win that, but we're just trying to hold what we have here. That's the biggest thing. Hold on what you got. Shot there from a T-64 from Joe. And really the thing is that we have to realize during this is they had a full control over this entire area. Moving this supply vehicle over here was not smart. Moving it down this road and back up to here would have been the smartest thing. Here we go. Against Abrams. T-80 takes a shot. Stunned. We were able to smoke it and repair it, but he's going to get pushed. This Abrams is going to be knocked out. Or at least, I think the BMP there is knocked out instead. That's hit. So the supply vehicle is down. This T-80UD is going to be up against 2 Abrams. It's going to die. So 2 Abrams there. And this is the tank advance. I think if we would have been situated here with our 2 tanks back here, this tank advance gets utterly destroyed from the side. But because we don't, because those 2 were over there, one's like right here and can't see that Abrams, we're in a situation where that happens. So 1 does go down, but we're being pushed by 3 other Abrams. I mean, from here would have been 3 T-80s from this position. So 1 from the woods and then 2 from out here. It would have been a 3-on-3. This BTR should be over here. But I don't realize that we lose it as fast as we do. So it goes down. And from there, we give them a ticking 3. So I'm thinking to myself, I need to get something out. We need to get something in this position. So I commit another command vehicle that's going to take forever to get here. I mean, this is a long resupply route. I think it's technically just as long as theirs. Technically. Joe's going to bring up 1 that he eventually gets in here, but Joe should not have had to deal with that. This ticking score doesn't happen if that happens. So Pomashinki coming on the left side. We're going to try to retake this flank. Semi-24 AT should have been staged prior. We had a lot of issues. But a lot of learning in this. I think if we would have had this Mi-24 up already with the tank, with that advance across, we move that Mi-24 out there and we also defeat that tank advance with the tanks, and we don't really lose any of ours. And we're in a situation where we win the day with that advance. So they're able to cancel out Joe's command here. So they get a +5. And then they go ahead and get theirs in. So it's a Jaeger back here. We're going to start pounding the living hell out of that position with our artillery. We don't know where this one is. We know there was a command tank over here. I think they have 2 in this space. But that's ultimately why we end up losing. A 7 on that final assault in the last 2 minutes ended up is why we're gonna lose this. So I've learned even more things. Sometimes it's best to have multiple command vehicles on the field, especially when they're cheap like BTRs. This is how fast ours goes. The T-80. It's not moving fast anytime soon. This BTR, fast boy. But it's not going to get up there fast enough. This Abrams comes across. It's absolutely smashed. Conquers over here. Fires. Doesn't get it. But forces that Abrams back. Seed aircraft trying to go air to air. Okay. We start taking out this rear, but I mean, for Crick, that really isn't an issue at this point because it's a late game push. Semi 24 is actually good. We should have pushed it up here. I mean, they got a ticking 5. And even if we were to neutralize this and neutralize this, it doesn't become a draw. They take it with that because of that 7. It was a good push. We'd have to eliminate this and eliminate this and likely have to take this one too, or at least neutralize it for that to be anything. One thing I also forgot to do is put down my supplies. If I would have put down my supplies, this would have been much easier. This Milan coming up into a bunch of infantry. It's gonna die, and that's gonna be it. So defeated here today. I've learned things. I have learned things, and I have learned things. So 2v2 is a pretty good play though. We didn't get rolled over, which I kind of figured we would, but we didn't. I was rolled over once with this this unit, and it took some time to figure out how I want to do things. Spetsnaz GRU getting some good stuff there. SU-27's getting a couple things, but ultimately our air-to-air was not great. The Musta coming in great with the artillery. I do like the Musta. It's great. This Mi-24 VP doing some work, taking out a couple martyrs, engineers, Chadley, Motor Strucky. This T-80UD taking out an Abrams, a Marauder, Panzer Grenadiers, some mech rifles, another Martyr, another Panzer Grenadiers, and the Command M1A1. So this one, before it went down, ended up taking 2 M1A1s down with it in the span of that actual attack. And this T-80UD only took down that Bradley. It really didn't do much, which is a shame. Same thing with this M1A1. The recon, we took it out, but ultimately, I mean, this UD didn't do much and it needs to do more work. So that's kind of what it comes down to, that. Ultimately, what we lost, let's look at what we lost here and how we lost it. So this M1A1 actually was forward deployed. I have to remember having a tank forward deployed as the 11th is good. I mean, being able to take down BRDMs and being able to take down things a lot faster and a lot quicker. It's a good one with the 11th. I do like that. Air. This means we need more air support. The Capar's taking on a couple things. That's just a mistake of microing wise. Bradleys. Well, those are the Chadleys. The recon Bradleys are just Chad units. They're insane. This M1A1, I mean, the BRM isn't going to really keep up with that. The F-16, losing this T-80UD to an F-16 means we just need more air. Yeah. I think one thing also with this is while we're moving up helos, where is it? For the PVIDs. So while we're moving up helos like the Mi-24, we'd have a seed aircraft in the back sitting there, and if they actually come in and fire like a PVID or one of the PVADs, we have an ability to strike that a PVAD and just eliminate it off the field. I mean, that's one thing that we have to do that I have to start getting used to using is seed aircraft. That's going to be it for this episode. Thanks for hanging out. A fun one, a 2v2 on Death Row. Just pretty fun. I'm still learning the game. I'm learning things. I'm getting better. And yeah, so thanks for hanging out. Go and leave a like below, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Later.